Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
This one's wife. Why are her legs often apart? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, and by her, of course, I'm referring to this one's wife, the Duchess of Industrial Beige, as we query, why are her legs often apart? Now, some of you may be thinking, aha, this is going to be one of those entertaining videos where HG runs through all of the various ways of describing the act of sexual congress. We will hear him talk about the pounding of the punani pavement, playing hide the sausage, engaging in discussing Ugandan affairs, making the beast with two backs. But no, actually, your naughty, dirty, pervy minds have gone to the wrong place. Shame on you. Santa will be adding you to the not nice, to the naughty list. You're going to have to redeem yourselves. No. The question posed in the video title as to why are her legs often apart isn't in relation to the voracious sexual appetite of the somatic narcissist that is this one's wife. I've covered that elsewhere. Instead, it is focused upon the fact that when she is often photographed, she stands in a rather strange position. She adopts a pose with her legs thrust apart. Now, it's not legs akimbo as per the thumbnail, of course not. But when she attended the Tyler Perry event, what did we see? As you can see on your screens, she was stood with her legs somewhat apart. And this is something which has happened with a degree of regularity. Now, in the interests of balance, it isn't the case that she always stands with her legs open and apart. No, there are some instances where her feet are together. Indeed, sometimes she stands with her legs crossed. But there are many occasions where she adopts this rather ungainly pose, where she stands with her legs firmly apart. Naturally, that raises the question, why does she do it? And of course, there are a variety of potential answers. First of all, it might be that she's been overdoing it with the doling out of the spicy poontang, and as a consequence of that, she needs to air out her nether regions to allow them to cool down. It's a little bit like a video game when you've been firing your laser gun for far too long, it overheats. It might just be that her badly stuffed kebab has reached thermonuclear levels of heat, and therefore standing apart is necessary for her to air it out. Alternatively, it could be that she enjoys the cool evening breeze blowing against her punani. Perhaps that makes her experience a little frisson of delight. Perhaps she suffers from excessive gas, and therefore she needs to make room to craftily let one go now and again, trying not to make too much noise as she does so. Or if it happens, she can blame it on Harry. Oh no, she can't do that. They don't appear together anymore. Alternatively, perhaps it's the case that that's where she actually stores Harry's pink pods, and they're hanging down and they're getting in the way, so she's not used to walking around with a pair of bollocks in there, and therefore that's why she adopts that stance. Then again, perhaps it's because it's her power stance. She's a girl boss, after all. Or maybe she's doing it to show off her legs and her outfit. This certainly isn't a one-off occurrence, as you can see from the various pictures that have floated across the screen. She does this with interesting regularity. But what drives the behaviour? You would think that for somebody who evidently has the benefit of a stylist at some point, that she's had the benefit of PR input, that she's had the benefit of just friends, individuals who are also celebrities, perhaps better known ones, who've been famous for longer, would point out to her in a kind and polite way, it doesn't look particularly good when you stand with your legs apart. You know, you might want to adopt an alternative stance. Undoubtedly, I suspect that she has been told this, but you know this one's wife, she always knows better. The narcissism tells her as such. You try and suggest that she's getting something wrong, that's a threat to control, and her narcissism will cause her to reject it and jettison the criticism. Accordingly, despite the fact that she will have undoubtedly received advice as to how to stand, she has rejected it, and instead continues to believe that the way that she stands is attractive. You might put it down to a lack of elegance and a lack of grooming, and in part you'd be right about that. But what actually drives it, unsurprisingly, is her narcissism. When she's being photographed, this is an interaction with other people. So crowds that are gathered, the press pack, journalists, etc. In some instances, her own photographers that she has hired. And she wants to portray an image of being this alpha female that she sees herself as. This powerful, dominant, successful woman. Accordingly, her narcissism causes her to adopt this stance because she thinks that that is how she looks good. That how she looks like she's saying, the next move is mine. It will also be in part because she wants you to see her, in the sense that she's not shrinking away, but by opening her body in this way, you are getting to see the maximum of her. It isn't shoulders hunched, legs crossed across one another, where she's backing away, perhaps half hiding behind Harry or whoever she happens to be with, but no. She's front and centre. Look at me. I am this one's wife. Feet planted firmly on the ground. And thus, it is driven by her narcissistic need to be seen and to portray a particular image. I also think that alongside that, there is a practical point to this as well. It's often the case that she wears high heels and the shoes are often too large for her. And therefore, I think that not only is this a case of her narcissism driving her to do this, to portray this slightly aggressive image, an in-your-face, I'm successful appearance, but it's also a practicality to stop her falling over. That, as you know, the further you plant your feet apart, the greater the level of stability it provides to you as you're distributing the downward force. I also think that in the case of this one's wife, because of the wearing of heels, which are often ill-fitting, and she doesn't have particularly strong chicken legs, the fact is that she's doing it to provide herself with some stability so she doesn't fall over. Accordingly, why her legs often apart? The answer is twofold. It's driven by her narcissism as an aggressive stance to make people look at her and to portray an image of success and domination, and also a practical point in order to stop her falling over and making a tit of herself as she then airs the fact that she isn't wearing any underwear as she lies on the red carpet, legs akimbo. Why do you think that she wears her legs apart so often? Do you agree with the reasons that I have suggested? Perhaps you think it's some of the earlier ones. Let me know in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.